Today, there is a lot of concern about transmissible diseases, particularly about how they can be controlled and, even more importantly, how they can be prevented. A few years ago, the World Health Organization introduced a new approach to the control of these diseases, which is referred to with the term One Health. It soon became clear that the introduction of this idea is nothing short of a small revolution, and this is something that all the friends of drhippocrates.com should be able to understand. This is why this presentation is focused to the discovery of the One Health concept, the reasons why it has been adopted as a global disease control tool, and why this is an important development. So, are you ready to get started? The One Health concept was expressed over the centuries in many different forms, in many civilizations, and in several cases religions, that urged for the holistic approach to promoting human health through animal and environmental protection, which is, of course, the central idea of the One Health concept. Exactly because this idea, the One Health concept, is not new at all, it is not easy to precisely pinpoint its beginning. There seems to be, however, consensus in the scientific community that this idea took on flesh and blood and acquired a scientific status by the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates. Hippocrates was born on the island of Kos at around the 5th century BC. Though the exact time of his death is not known, it is believed that he died at an age between 85 to 105. Mind you that at the time the average age did not reach 50. A detail which is perhaps interesting and supports the theory that the origin of the One Health approach, not as a philosophical or religious notion, but as a scientific conception, can be indeed attributed to the civilization that nourished Hippocrates, is the real mission of the ancient Greek theatre of Epidavros. What many people do not know is that this amphitheatre, which is still famous for its outstanding acoustics, was basically part of a hospital, and the idea was that patients would be treated both in mind and body. The detail which is interesting is that this hospital and of course the certain theatre were built in the middle of nowhere, quite far from any city, as a provision for making sure that the patients would live in a clean environment, breathe clean air, and drink clean water, which is of course depicted in the writings of Hippocrates that are referred to with the title On Airs, Waters, and Places. Almost 25 centuries later, people reinvent the idea of One Health. This happened formally during the Wildlife Conservation Society conference in 2004, which resulted in the Manhattan Principles on One World, One Health. 4 years later, in 2008, the World Health Organization decides to address the interface between animals, humans, and the environment with the term One Health. However, the real change and the adulthood of this concept comes when this was expressed in what matters most in life, and that is, of course, money. So perhaps the real change occurs in 2012 when the World Bank published an assessment on the economic benefits of One Health. I would like to draw your attention to the nice figures drawn on the cover page of this study, which seem to be foretelling the future for the coronavirus pandemic, with human casualties and a face wearing a mask. Be reminded that back then the problem was not COVID-19, but avian influenza. The strange thing, however, with the One Health concept is neither how it began nor how it was reinvented. The thing that nowadays seems difficult to conceive is how come people forgot all about it. What made us forget about the interconnection between humans, animals, and the environment and focus after so many centuries of One Health heritage to humans or animals completely cut off from each other and their ecosystem? Maybe the answer to this is bifold. For starters, scientists began to understand the microbial nature of diseases. Thus, it gradually became clear that things are simple. Diseases are not caused by bad spirits or by not having enough amusement and theatrical entertainment in your life. Diseases are caused by infectious agents. Kill the agent and you're done. The disease is controlled and there's no need for more action. This was of course very convenient for the industry, which needed resources to grow and become bigger, something which obviously made the idea of ecological balance and environmental protection completely out of place. So back then, people could not yet imagine that the environment could only tolerate so much misuse and that sooner or later it would fight back. This started becoming clear a few decades ago with zoonotic diseases, that is, diseases transmissible between animals and humans, such as Lassa fever, Lyme disease, avian influenza, West Nile fever, Ebola, and SARS, and of course, more recently, COVID-19, which made the world understand that One Health is not a luxury but a must. So today, the idea is that a disease control policy cannot rely exclusively on human health protection. We tried this in the past and it proved a major failure. If one intends to effectively control a disease, one must take into consideration the entire ecosystem, or in other words, not only humans, but also the animals that surround them and the environment. Why is this so significant? Because it indicates we are gradually starting to understand that if we are to survive on Earth, we must respect and protect it. And this must become our top priority. Thank you very much for your attention and see you in the next presentation of drhippocrates.com.